Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. To the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thursday's here. Yeah, they're a full house. It's good if you can get that picture. I probably should. Yeah, that's something, yeah, we're really, we have like a full.
We're not testing.
Alright, you guys want to try a picture?
Yeah,
Can you get it forward? You need us to move in on the way.
No, you're good, you don't have to move in. Let me see, smile. Smile. Okay, one more. I'm out of the sweat.
I'll do that. Maybe I start to look weird
Right,
because I'm gonna go for like.
one more time. Okay,
So all members are present. Looked at the minutes. I have no objections. Everybody can check out the minutes. Anyone?
We'll make a motion to approve them, if there's no.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mitch. All right, we're gonna move right into our presentation from Monroe County Vector Control. We have our packets. Who's giving the presentation? Aaron Lombard. Oh, yes.
Thank you, thank you for inviting me. My name is Aaron Lombard. I am the mosquito control coordinator for Monroe County. And I'm here just to talk a little bit about the program and some environmental related concerns, just throughout the entire county, things that we look out for when it comes to mosquitoes and ticks and the ways that towns can work together to mitigate those issues. So just a little background information. I get just asked this question a lot, what a vector is. A vector is an organism that transmits a disease from one organism to another. So our major vectors that we have here in Pennsylvania are mosquitoes and ticks. And pathogens that mosquitoes or ticks can transmit can either be protists, bacteria, or viruses. So there's a lot of different diseases that can be transmitted by these organisms. The primary one that we deal with here in Pennsylvania and in the Northeast is West Nile virus when it comes to mosquitoes, and Lyme disease as related to ticks. So with the vector management within the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, there's a few organizations that work together to mitigate health risks. It's the DEP Vector Management, Department of Health, and Department of Agriculture. Department of Health is mainly dealing with the health of humans. Agriculture is dealing with our crops and our livestock, and vector management is dealing with the habitat, really. So where are we breeding mosquitoes? Or do we have a lot of swamp lands? Do we have tires? Do we have junkyards and things that are causing mosquito issues? That's the realm of DEP, as well as the county partners of vector management. So the way that we attack mosquitoes is we use integrated pest management. It's a multifaceted tool set that encompasses everything from education to surveillance and then controls. So we want to look at this in a fully holistic lens and try and address issues at their source. So if we're talking about mosquitoes, the source is the water. So we're looking at places that are stagnant water. That's the prerequisite for all mosquito life. So if we can keep an eye on where water is sitting in the township and throughout the county and monitor those areas for mosquito breeding, we can address these issues before they're flying around and biting people and transmitting disease. So the big thing is keeping in mind to standing water. So when we do larval mosquito surveillance, we are looking in pretty much anywhere where water could be. It includes our stormwater infrastructure, wastewater facilities, salvage yards, public parks, residential communities, commercial properties, tire piles, and really anything that holds water. adult mosquito surveillance, we set traps throughout the county. That would monitor, the adult mosquito populations. We use to assess how populations are growing throughout the year. Whether we're seeing issues of huge booms of mosquitoes in specific areas so that we know where to allocate resources to. Because one part of the county might not be having a mosquito issue where the other is, so we want to make sure that we're using the right amount of resources in the right places. And this is also how we find out how the mosquitoes, what diseases the mosquitoes are carrying. Um, Mosquito surveillance is important because mosquitoes transmit West Nile virus. West Nile virus is a disease that most people that get it don't even know that they have it, but those that are immunocompromised, elderly, or infants are at high risk of having life altering changes like brain development issues and other, really it affects a large many systems in the body, but the big one is brain swelling that it causes in infants and elderly folks, and that's really what we're trying to mitigate. So we want to focus our surveillance around places where children, older adults, and immunocompromised folks may be. So that's our nursing homes, retirement communities, hospitals, daycare, schools. So if you live near one of these locations, and you do notice a mosquito problem, because we're not an omnipresent program, we're not everywhere at once all the time. If you're noticing a local mosquito problem and you live in a great care, or you know that your grandparent lives in this retirement community, I strongly encourage everybody to share those concerns, because that's how we're gonna be able to get out and find out about these issues. Dead birds, birds are the reservoir for West Nile virus. Specifically, crows, jays, and raptors. So if we do find any dead crows, jays, raptors, owls, it's a good thing to contact us. We'll set mosquito traps and we'll try and find out if there is West Nile virus in that area. In the past, we did do blood tests on the birds, but avian influenza kind of turned everything on its head. And the Game Commission or the Department of Agriculture really handles bird testing, but we still will do our surveillance. We'll still try to find out if West Nile is the issue. So everybody in this room, your responsibility, your homework this summer and spring is keeping an eye on the properties. You really want to look out for your potters, your buckets, bird baths, garbage cans, chairs, rain barrels are huge ones. Tarps are a huge one, tires, kids' toys, kiddie pools. All these places breed mosquitoes, and if the water is sitting still for too long, it will breed mosquitoes. So change that water, dump it out, leave these buckets and items overturned, change the water in your bird bath every week. Rain barrels, make sure you have tight screens on it so the mosquitoes aren't just flying right in there and laying eggs in your water for your crops. If there's something that you cannot dump, there are products that are sold at home and garden stores. It's called BTI and it's derived from a soil bacteria spore. This is a product that we use, but we use it on, we get it in an industrial scale. So we are using this product throughout the county in standing water when we know that mosquito are present. But you are more than free and it's lawful for everyone in this room, as long as you can read the label and follow the instructions, you can use this product on your own property. If you have a concern about, you want to treat your rain barrel or your fish pond. This has no adverse effect on organisms other than mosquitoes. In fact, it's like free food for everybody else. Chemical control, if we are finding West Nile virus, our larval controls aren't working, or they're not chipping away at the issue. We're not seeing those mosquito numbers go down and the level of virus is still increasing. We might have to resort to chemical sprays. There's a lot of things that go into our decisions to do this, and it's directly influenced by guidelines from the DEP as well as the CDC. And we follow Pennsylvania state laws about notifying everybody about when we're going to do the spray. We're legally required to let you know 24 hours in advance exactly where we're going to be doing it and let you know afterwards what exactly it is we did. So we will communicate that with you if there is ever a need to do a spray. So for you guys in the front, this is for y'all. What can communities do to keep mosquito and tick issues at bay? Obviously, government funded education for citizens and workers, inviting us to have conversations about mosquito control is a really great way to open the door and let everybody know, like, hey, you know, this is something that we do deal with here. We do have West Nile here. We do have a lot of Lyme disease here. So it's smart to think about these organisms. So laws about making it unlawful to have standing water on your property is a good starting point. And then allocating resources to habitat reduction, that might be filling in ditches that we notice are issues, or removing dump sites. Like if we have illegal dump sites, maybe we should work on getting out there and cleaning tires out of ditches and stuff, because those are breeding mosquitoes. You know, thinking critically about things like having certain guidelines for your staff. Like, I know some places might prefer to mow their lawns early in the week. But if you have a really wet, you know, start to the week, it might be smarter to hold off until Friday when it dries up, because anytime you're mowing the lawn or driving heavy equipment along the wet yard, you're creating ruts, and that's creating habitat for mosquitoes. So just there's small things that you can think about that will influence how many mosquitoes are breeding on your property. And then preemptively treating these problem sites. So if you guys notice areas that have standing water, every time it rains, the water's there for over a week, let me know, we'll get out there and we'll treat it. To make sure that it doesn't become an issue. So an example of how laws can be used in our favor for mosquito control. This is an example from East Stroudsburg's appendix on West Nile virus guidance for their stormwater systems. And it basically is saying that if you have an your stormwater retention ponds are designed in a way that encourage diverse organisms, animals and plants to establish themselves there, it will naturally reduce the mosquito population. So you want to have the right types of vegetation. You want to encourage amphibians and birds and fish to be there, because that will kind of do my job for me. And I appreciate that. So the idea is to turn your utilities into assets. You want your stormwater ponds to serve multiple purposes. Maybe if they're a natural habitat, they add beautification qualities to the municipality. So it's really a threefold thing. You're protecting people's health, you're making things look better, and you're mitigating floods. So if it's not an environmental benefit, it can become a detriment to health. Ecosystems are very delicate balance, and we want to take into consideration these things. So if there's no predators in an area, there will be more mosquitoes. Just to go over our surveillance results for last year. We typically see more mosquitoes in June. Smithfield's last year, we had a few light traps. It might have just been the day that we set the trap. It wasn't really conducive to trapping mosquitoes, so we didn't really get that many in there. So many of the other municipalities, we actually do see a much bigger spike there in June. But so we had one positive West Nile virus sample, and that happened in August. And so that was the biggest trap that we set that summer. It had 158 mosquitoes in the trap. And all the other traps that we set in Smithfield were like around 20 mosquitoes, 30 mosquitoes. So it kind of goes to show, like, West Nile, it doesn't pop up out of nowhere, but it pops up onto our registry. Like, the mosquito numbers are steadily climbing, and then all of a sudden we're getting hits for West Nile virus. So that tells us to kind of ramp up our controls. As far as controls in Smithfield for 2025, we performed 11 larval controls. And the main product that we used was that BTI. It's the Vectobac and the Vecto Prime, as well as the 4-star are BTI products. Two other types of products that we use are Altocid, which is a insect growth regulator, and Spinosad, which it kind of is like it's like insect crap, and it really excites them and makes them unable to do the things that they're supposed to do to grow and live. And we're using this in very contained areas, so we're not just losing in areas where the water's running off right into our streams. It's places where water's sitting for a very long time, staying stagnant, not going anywhere. Types of habitats that we're looking at, really anywhere water can be. So, obviously, if you look at your, this isn't a very good map on here, but if you look at your low lying and stream areas where there's lakes and ponds, it's a good start for us to look for mosquitoes because the water's always gonna be there. But anywhere that water can sit, mosquitoes will breed. Wetlands, swamps, bogs, ponds, floodplains. So if you live near any of those areas and you know it's a mosquito issue, it might be a natural thing, but still let us know. We'll come out and we'll set traps, we'll assess what we can do and look around the area. Commercial stormwater retention areas. So this is the Smithfield Gateway. Those guys have some destruction going on there, and every time we dig a new retention pond, a little depression in the ground, water's gonna sit there. It creates a new habitat for me to monitor for mosquitoes. So just something, you know, keep in mind, everything we do has consequences. So same thing, retention basins in residential communities, especially nursing homes, areas where a lot of elderly folks live. There's a lot of these depressions are dug out to mitigate flooding, but they're creating mosquito habitat. Nothing wrong with that, just have to get out there and monitor them. Sewage treatment plants, this is their big one because the primary vector of West Nile virus prefers really, really polluted water. So they're looking for the stinkiest water they can find, and that's our wastewater facilities. And also these wastewater facilities, they're large, and they're usually close by to parks and other areas where, you know, we don't really want to have a mosquito issue necessarily. Nothing wrong with the wastewater facility, they're doing what they're supposed to do, but key is, it's my job to get out to these facilities to set mosquito traps. And it's my job to communicate with the operators about conducting treatments in those locations. But anything that the township could do to help with that, you know, I won't be afraid to ask, reach out and ask. All right. Highways, it's hard to treat alongside highways and in the medians of highways, but we do our best to get there. This also. Interstate transit also opens the door for invasive species. So that's kind of, on the borders, we'll set traps and make sure that, you know, we're not getting a boatload of invasive mosquitoes coming in from New Jersey. And parks, trails, and summer camps. The key here is these places are out in nature. Protect yourselves. You know, there's not much that we're going to do to mitigate mosquitoes necessarily in the middle of the woods. Especially in like a state or national park. But you know, wear your repellent or long sleeve clothing. Avoid these areas at dusk and dawn when mosquitoes are most active. But it's really important for guardians, whether it's staff at your like summer camps they're able to communicate how to mosquito safety and tick safety to kids. Because they're really kind of be the educators on site to keep people in the loop. All right, tick safety. Number one, personal protection is the most important thing for tick safety. Wear long sleeves, tuck your pants into your socks, your shirt into your pants. Don't let the ticks crawl up your sleeves. If you do find ticks on you, you really want to grab with a fine tweezers as close to the base of the skin as possible and pull up gently, but with steady pressure, and you don't want to twist or crunch them. And you always want to wash your hands in the bite area. I'm sure everyone knows about the tick lab at East Stroudsburg, so if you do find ticks, send it over there, they'll test them for free. There are things we can do in our yards to keep ticks from being an issue. The main thing is I hate to say this, but we want to keep our lawns cut short, because it creates like a desert for ticks. Ticks don't want to cross a lot of open environment where they're exposed to the sun, they'll dry out and die. So if you keep any of your activities that you do, like your garden, in an area surrounded by well-cut grass, you shouldn't really have as much of an issue with ticks, especially if you have fencing that's gonna keep deer and other rodent control measures. Rodent control is really, really important to take control on your property, so anything you can do to reduce mice as close to your home as possible will reduce ticks. Tick surveillance, we do tick surveillance. We don't do tick control in our program, but we do monitor ticks. We go out to trails and parks and drag with white cloth along the edges and we'll send the ticks over to the DEP laboratory to be tested. I have some of the data from our tick surveillance this year, or this past year. The only site that we had that was in Smithfield was the Hialeah picnic area, which is in the national park. And we saw 7 out of 25 adult Ixodes ticks that had Lyme disease, so that's a 28% infection rate. But the county-wide infection rate for adults is about 40%. And the northeast region's Lyme disease is about 49. So basically about half the ticks you're coming in contact with, according to this data. This isn't the end all be all. But according to this data, about half of them have Lyme disease. So yeah, it's more than enough. So please be careful. That's really the key takeaway for ticks is be careful. If you have questions about personal protection measures or things you can do for your property, my phone line, my emails are always open. I like talking about this stuff with people. So really the key here is, imagine your communities, think about the types of habitats that mosquitoes like or ticks like. And think about the folks that are at risk. If they do get sick, they're gonna have the most issues. So if you have daycares, parks, schools, hospitals, nursing homes, and you have mosquito habitat around them, report it to me. We'll get out there and we'll do what we can to take care of it. And we'll always communicate what we're doing with the municipality. So there's a few other slides in here. I just threw extra information in case folks had questions. Some of the tick data is in here, and some information about Lyme disease and West Nile virus, about some of their symptoms and how they're spread. So ultimately, I just wanted to come here to let you know who we are, what we do, that we are a service that is available to everyone in the county. You don't pay anything. The municipalities don't pay anything. This is your tax dollars that work already. It's already taken care of at the state level. And I'm here to serve y'all and to help y'all not have mosquito issues as best as I can.
Thanks, Aaron.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
That was awesome. A lot of good information.
We'll move on. Yeah, unless you guys have any questions for Aaron.
Questions for Aaron? I got two things I'd like to bring up. When you were saying about mosquito control, you didn't mention anything about bat boxes. One bat will eat 4,000 to 5,000 bugs a night.
Mhm.
Has the county looked into putting in bat boxes in specific areas or larger areas where this might be an issue?
Right.
I know our bat population's in a decline, but if we would put more habitat in, maybe we could up that population.
I think that would be a great idea. I think in order to work with something like that, I'd probably have to work with the conservation district. All of our funding directly comes from the state program. So
Okay.
actually, there's no Monroe County contribution to what we do. So anything that we're gonna use money for has to be directly approved by project advisors of the state, and they're pretty stingy.
Okay, I get it.
So
I get it.
yeah, but that's a great idea. Like, that's some idea that I can go to the conservation district and other groups within the county. And we can work on maybe doing a volunteer program of maybe have volunteers make pack boxes. And then we can work on finding places to put them. So I think that's an excellent
Okay.
idea.
And then I had another one on your chemical control, the spraying. What's the toxicity of that? How bad is that?
So, I will provide labels that have the toxicity. It actually does have measurable, like they say that this dose has a lethal dose it'll kill 50% of mice at this dose. And those are all on the label for every product. But the way that we use these products is, we use a very, 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 very small volume of a highly concentrated product. So the droplet sizes are so tiny that they can actually float in the air column. And we're using it at the right time of night where there's not necessarily bees and other daytime pollinators out. So the only things that are gonna come in contact with it are things that are flying around at that time of night. And the only thing that droplet is gonna be big enough to kind of fully deliver the dose to are things that are gonna be as small as a mosquito. So something like a moth, that droplet size won't be enough to kill a moth.
Okay,
But like I said, like it takes a lot of science to determine those things, and I'm not saying that it's not harmful to a moth. But we do there, the EPA has a very strong idea of how toxic these chemicals are. And they really go into detail about when and where you can and can't use them. And whenever I do a spray, whenever I do like a truck spray, I do it with DEP, they're in my passenger seat with me. With the backpack sprays, if I'm spraying some vegetation, the chemicals that we use for spraying vegetation is permethrin, which, I'm sure many people are familiar with permethrin in this room, people might treat their clothes with it already as a tick repellent. It's not highly toxic to people at all. There has been issues with permethrin in cats. So it is something that you do want to be careful with. Especially if you're someone that handles pesticides, you don't want to leave your pesticide clothes somewhere where a cat can get. But if it's used properly in the environment, the way that's recommended on the label, it won't cause health concerns. And also, key part, we do let anybody whose doctor has acknowledged them, a patient as being hypersensitive to pesticides. The state has a record of every patient that a doctor said, this person is allergic to pesticides. And I have a book, I got an updated book twice a year with those names and numbers in it, and I send direct communications to them to let them know if we're doing a spray, like, hey, we saw you're on the hypersensitive list, like, we're gonna be doing a spray in your area, like, you should not go outside for a couple hours. Same thing with beekeepers, we'll let beekeepers know as well.
okay,
So, obviously, and when we do the communications, when I spend 24 hours before we do a spray, I will send you the label. And I will indicate on like the toxicity on that label, like I'll try to highlight that for you.
okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really quickly, in my medical practice, I did know a dental student in Arizona who had a West Nile infection that resulted in a temporary paralysis, which limited him in rotations. And then secondly, in Philadelphia, I did wind up treating somebody in the neuro ICU with the brain swelling.
Wow.
So it is one of those things that, again, feels like it won't affect you. West Nile feels very foreign, but at the end of the day, it's as local as 6 degrees of separation away. So that's one thing. So just for awareness, thank you. Really good presentation. And then the only other comment I had was we currently have a lot of the wetlands, and you identified a lot of these spaces on the map. Do we know, do we have a record of what is already being monitored, or is that something we have to kind of catch up on?
I have.
Not off the
Yeah,
cuff, but-
like our database goes back to when they first found, in 2000 was when Pennsylvania started their West Nile program.
Okay.
I have a record of every mosquito that was found in Smithfield Township on the state database, and I can share that information. Obviously, every year, over the past 20 years, a lot of sites were incorporated and then fell out of favor because they might have been really inconvenient to get out to.
Sure.
So it might be like, that, like, we don't have a lot of sites in Middle Smithfield, for example, but we do along 209. It's like kind of, it's same thing with Smithfield along the East Stroudsburg and the 209 corridor. We have a lot of our monitoring sites, but obviously I know there's a lot more wetlands. I know there's a lot more places of concern for mosquito habitat. It's just we do mosquito, I did forget to mention, we do it for 3 counties. We're not just Monroe County's program, we're Pike and Waynes County.
Okay.
Program as well, so it is, we really do want to do the best surveillance that we can do with the time that we're given, so. Some sites that you might think are really great mosquito sites, we might not get out to on our own. I might not make the decision to go there, because I'm thinking about equally about every other municipality. So if you know someplace that is a hot spot, or you just are curious if that this wetland is expansive.
Exactly, for the awareness of the.
Yeah, we'll go out and set a trap but. As it is now, I've noticed like the Minnesink area down by the Manwalamink wastewater facility, as well as the Gateway and Gregory's Pond seem to be, Gregory's Pond was actually a really big site back in the day. That was a monitoring site for like 20 years straight, so. Yeah, we had a lot of mosquitoes. We changed the traps that we used to kind of more focused on West Nile virus. So we do see less mosquitoes there now, but we're more hyper focused on that West Nile.
Sure, thank you.
All right, any other questions? Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, we're moving on to the announcements. March 28th, 2026, Mount Nebo Park Educational Hike. That's our next hike.
Yeah, it's coming up next week.
Exciting. We have some stuff on the news or on the website. So if anybody wants to just like screenshot that and post it on their social media so that we can get more people to come out to our hike, that would be great.
There's still flyers out here on the
Yeah,
counter.
they're out there as well. Yeah, if you want to grab a flyer from the counter and put it up in your favorite coffee shop or something, that would be lovely. So Mount Nebo Park is pretty simple because there's a parking spot. You know where it's at. We'll meet there and head out. Would you say that about an hour and a half? About?
Yeah.
About an hour and a half. I'm not a tough one. The next big event is our Pick Up the Poconos event at Buttermilk Falls Road, 9:30. I put in for the press release. I didn't get that back yet, but are we gonna park at Wyndham or are we gonna park at Sand?
For the pickup Poconos,
Yeah,
it's by the traffic light there where the post office is.
the post office is.
The top of the hill.
Yeah, Sand. Yeah, the
That's
top,
Sand,
yeah, okay. We're parking at the top.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll park at the top of Buttermilk Falls Road, meeting at 9:30. We will have vests and trash picker uppers, and we will have garbage bags for everybody. You don't have to really bring anything but yourself. Same thing. We had a bunch of people show up last time, but it was, and yeah, we had a lot of fun. So hopefully, if you're free, come out. It's an Earth Day event, Earth Month, and we look forward to seeing everybody there.
Both Saturdays,
What's that?
both Saturdays.
Yeah.
Last pickup event wasn't a Saturday, so
Yeah.
just for everybody's awareness.
Yeah, so
We can get more people out.
absolutely. It'll be
Yeah.
a good one.
So is that only Buttermilk Falls Road?
Mhm.
That's a very short pickup area.
About the amount, it's about like what we got done last time.
Oh, no, we did quite a bit from,
Well, we also have the ability to do Nebo.
Mount Nebo Park.
We
Yeah.
can branch down Nebo and do that section too, so.
There's
If we fit,
there'll be plenty of trash.
yeah, we know that. Yeah,
They're both highly traveled.
yeah, it's a good time to do it too, because you can see everything right now, so. it'll be good.
Exactly.
And then our educational hike for May 2nd will be the Thunder Swamp. Louis, if you wanna make a note of that too, and maybe be there for that one. May 2nd, I forgot to ask Louis and the ESU biologist if they wanted to be a part of that, but
Yeah.
Louis is here, so.
That'd be amazing. Yeah.
They just did a herping thing the other night. Where'd you guys go? Louis?
Went to a secret spot.
Went to a secret spot for it too, but, the best, the photos of all the different salamanders and stuff they got was just pretty sweet.
That's great. If you could share it with the council,
Yeah.
that'd be really, I'd be interested.
We love that.
We gotta do it.
Okay,
One
super.
of these times.
Can we get into that secret spot?
We'll see.
No, I can set something up. Is that like a fishing spot?
Yeah, exactly.
I can take it, but you can't come back.
But I think one of the hikes, I don't know what you guys think, but it would be cool to do a nighttime thing like that, you know?
I would
Get some,
Oh, the bug collection?
well, bug night is,
I would love to do
We were
like,
talking about
bug
that.
night is gonna be cool.
yeah,
But as far as the hike is concerned, we might be able to do a nighttime hike, so
I'd like to do that bug collection somewhere.
we're gonna do it, definitely.
What was the date of it?
What's that?
You second
Ooh, but we think August, right? That was the. I think we said
Yeah.
August.
Pending, I guess.
We're looking to do a Stars and S'mores event here at Waterfront Park sometime in either late July or early August. That might be an
So that-
opportunity to sort of,
We'll
you know,
do it.
do a pilot
That's perfect.
program.
Yeah, has anybody seen the movie Arachnophobia, where they do all that?
oh
Wow,
my god, I had nightmares
and
about
they
that.
collect all these specimens,
Yes.
well, that's what bug night is. You're gonna see stuff you've never seen before.
Except nothing does. We just use black lights and sheets and then all the flying insects that track to the black light. Pretty good. Yeah, but right, so March, April, May, we have set. That's pretty much it for the announcements. We have old business 7. Update to the recommendations to the Board of Supervisors and.
Yeah, that one I can just speak to real quick.
Okay.
Mitch was there. Actually, Mitch kind of talked to the supervisors at their last meeting. And they did acknowledge receipt of the right to know request and the letter to the governor, and I think they said they were gonna take it up at the next meeting, so I think that's next Wednesday.
Great.
Anything else you wanna add, Mitch?
I think that's about it.
We'll move on.
Yeah, I would, on that one, I would note that the DEP posted the hearing for the Manuel Ming
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
way sooner than any of us imagined, so there's gonna need to be some.
it's a super quick turnaround if we can get that on the agenda, just if it's up to you, but it may be on the agenda.
Do you know the
for
date that they threw out?
a sub-council.
April, well,
Well, it's gonna be, it's, I gave you all a copy of it, I also gave a
Yeah.
copy to the audience there if you want it, it's April 16th, so it's gonna be. Now we're gonna have to look at maybe, you know, we're gonna have to talk internally about whether or not maybe someone has to go up there to inspect them in person, because the turnaround for right to know is 35 days, so.
Sure.
So by the time the supervisors discuss it at their next meeting on the 25th, it'll be too late, so something's gotta be done, I'm gonna talk to the manager and see what we can work out, and I'll let you guys know what happens.
Good.
Worst case scenario is somebody has to go up there in person, you know, to get copies and then email it out to everybody, but we'll make.
Where is it's on here, right?
Yeah,
yeah. Just so everybody knows what we're talking about, there's the sewage treatment plant, which is in Minisink Hills here at the end of River Road, was operated by Manuel Inc. and was recently purchased by American Water, Pennsylvania American Water, 20 or $30 billion company. Since purchasing the whole sewage treatment plant, there have been some violations. Beyond the violations, we just felt it was an opportunity for us to meet the new giant corporation that just acquired our sewage treatment plant, which is dumping into our trout stream and handling all of Shawnee's sewage. So we requested a hearing. Hearing was granted. We thought it was going to be August, September, November, but it is April. So we have to do our research to be prepared to ask the right questions at the hearing and just get the right responses and let everybody know what is going on down there. And as Alex was saying, that's what we're gonna do
Yeah, and
over the next week.
yeah, we're gonna do that. I'm gonna talk to the manager and see what we can do, but in the meantime, Eric, you know, it's gonna be in this room right where we're sitting now.
Mhm.
Thursday, April 16th, so I did send a calendar invite to everybody. It's at 6 p.m, so I did specifically say, hey, could you please have it during an hour when, you know, working people can actually attend, so they did, you know. Comply with that request, which, you know, a lot of kudos, you know, the DP did a great job in.
Yeah.
Sort of letting everybody know. Katie was really great in sending us out, then I found this publication in the bulletin, this is the official one. Basically, organizations are encouraged to designate one witness to present testimony, but that shouldn't stop council members from going in their individual capacity and issuing their own comments as well. So there may be an instance where this group, maybe your next meeting appoints somebody to specifically speak on the EAC. I would imagine the supervisors will do the same. But don't let that stop you, and anybody's invited, whether you live in the township, whether you live, downstream in Easton, doesn't matter, everyone's affected by wastewater treatment. This facility had a lot of issues that were identified, valid issues, including discharge near where endangered aquatic species are, violations, so there's a lot of
And outdated.
outdated technology. It's a highly, it's a big issue, and I know it's only a month away, but if anyone here can grab a copy of that, you don't have to testify, but it's important to find out what's going on in your community.
I do have one question, does anybody who wants to come and testify, do they need to contact beforehand?
It
Or
helps.
can they-
It helps.
Yeah, because, well, that's what it said on the thing, that you have to contact the,
Yeah. It helps,
okay,
but from my
so,
considerable
if
experience.
anybody wanted to say anything,
Yeah,
which I think everybody should.
yeah,
You might wanna contact beforehand, and the information is on this paperwork.
that's a good point, Kate.
Yeah,
Like, if you do show up, they will not stop you from talking, from my experience.
Yeah,
I'll get
right.
around to it, but it's good if you sort of,
Pretty,
yeah, I agree.
When I went to the East Stroudsburg public hearing. I just signed in
Mhm.
when I got it,
yeah,
so it's always good to do the advance, but they'll take care.
Yeah.
okay, alright, that's good to know too, cause I wasn't sure.
What are the chances that we will get any of the right to know information that we're requesting?
I'm gonna
in
say
time to see-
tentatively that I can drive to Wilkes-Barre within the next week. If that's what needs to happen.
And if not, we can.
My
cite-
mom will go with me, she likes to shop over there, so. Yeah, it won't be a
Well,
problem.
we need the supervisor
Yeah.
to submit the request.
Well, that's what he's saying.
No, but he's saying it's a 35 day turnaround, we're not gonna get the right to know
Right,
that way.
There's another app.
But if there's another way to do it,
What we can do is we can at least mention that at the hearing, that we submitted a request, we're waiting for information. If we don't get it before then, we could, cite that at the meeting.
I think that's what Alex was saying.
Yeah. Is that what you're
yeah,
saying?
No,
yeah, I
you can
think
request
that
it and then go.
you can
Go
go as,
collect it?
you can go
Okay.
collect it.
So
Yeah.
ultimately, we will would be able to get it then,
Have it.
essentially.
Mike, in the fourth paragraph, it does say that anyone can call the file review coordinator and schedule an appointment to look at the files. You
Okay.
don't have to be affiliated with the township. Anyone has the right to.
Anyone has the right.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's all public information.
Okay.
We're good.
That's a good question.
We'll have what we need.
Should we discuss any talking points at our next meeting, like
Mhm.
before we have that hearing?
We will.
Should we put that on the agenda or?
Yeah.
I would love that on the
So,
agenda.
yeah.
That's a big deal.
It's a big
So
deal.
originally, we were planning to do a subcommittee to prepare for this, but there's no time.
There's
We'll
no
just
time.
Add it, we'll just squeeze it into the next one and we'll get it
Yeah.
done in the meeting.
Unless you. I don't understand paper.
That's fine.
We're doing,
Yeah.
I was already doing it.
I'm with
so-
I have a little bit of time now, so I'm.
Right, so that was the sidecar for that, but we'll add that to the next
Yeah.
meeting agenda. And the EAC trifold progress. Mitch. Did you want to talk on that since we did most of the work?
what's that on the data center?
Try
No,
to.
no, I just, well, I'm stuck on the annual report is him.
No, where are we on?
I can do the trifold thing. We put together a trifold, for the EAC. It's pretty simple. Well, as a group, we put it together and then I met with Jacob last week and. We're gonna have, a little trifold to hand out at all of our events. We'll have the proof from Jacob, I think, to show everybody at the next meeting, so.
Yeah, he told me this morning he's been working on it.
Yeah, and then we'll go out to print and then we'll have it for a pickup event, probably there, right? Maybe.
Randy, we're striving.
Maybe, okay. And then the annual report progress, so, Mitch and I pulled together all of the highlights from the last year of the EAC and, there's a lot of really great stuff. that I forgot about quite a bit of it, so it was good to go through all the meeting notes. Minutes and. See that we're actually making some progress.
Yeah, have it in your binder there, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
If you scroll past the minutes, you should see the black and white logo.
About 4 pages back.
Yeah, that one. Yep. No, it's okay. Yeah, go for it. So. Do you wanna go through it? Should we go through it, or should we just wait until we?
Well, I mean, you could go through it if you want, I mean, that's.
Let's go through it now.
Subcommittee on
We
that.
can approve
Okay.
submitting.
All right, so you have the information in your packets from Alex. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff in there, but most importantly, in the beginning of the year. We worked on the open space inventory. The open space inventory was something that I had been working on for years, actually, because that was originally part of the open space committee, which was the original version of the EAC. And then the EAC took over. That was a lot of work, actually, by a lot of different people, culminating probably 5 years of trying to figure out which piece of property in the township were the best possible pieces of property to potentially acquire in the future, if we could. Not very easy to do because we are bound by the well, there's the constraining issues are the price per acre. So just because a place looks beautiful and would be wonderful for the township to acquire, doesn't mean that the landowner is willing to do so for the price that we would be allowed to buy it for. But still, the process of identifying the ones that we felt would be the best was worthwhile. And that was Mount Nebo Park, Godfrey's Ridge, the water park, Buttermilk Falls. The Upper Marshalls Creek was I forgot what that one was. What was that?
There's a couple of parcels
Okay.
adjacent to Marshall's Falls.
To the falls,
They
okay.
identified as desirable.
Yeah, but having those and understanding where they are and what they are is good, because if they do come up, we can try and work on, picking them up in the future. EAC's priority list was finalized, the water quality concerns, conservation and ecosystem management, sustainable practices, public education. EAC evaluation of township matters through an environmental lens. And preservation of peace, quiet, natural beauty and scenic views. This was also a really great exercise for us as a group, because we were trying to figure out what we were, who we were, why we were here. And yeah, I'm looking forward to focusing on all of those priorities as we move forward, and we've been doing a great job, doing that, so. Number 3, we initiated an effort to recommend updates to the official map. The official map was something that most of us probably don't really understand, but it was put together a long time ago. This is the first major update that we had to the map. And we identified, again, areas of concern for acquisition, right? That was one of it.
Yeah, you had added Godfrey's Ridge.
Godfrey's Ridge.
Primarily, then the
Eureka,
waterfalls.
Yeah, and falls. And then we put together a pretty comprehensive proposal for a bike path throughout the entire, a bike and pedestrian path throughout the entire township. Again, this takes years and years and years to put together, but once it's in, it's there and it can't be changed, so it's good. The newsletter and community outreach was another big, it was a big issue for me, because we felt like the biggest thing that we could do as an EAC was work with the community, let them know what it is that we're doing, what we find is necessary to continue to create a sustainable community here in Smithfield Township. Newsletter's been out, people are responding. And now we're working on all of our pick up the Poconos events, educational hikes and workshops throughout the year. The educational tours and community events. That's what we were just talking about. We have a bunch throughout the year now, and we'll be putting those on the calendars and hopefully bringing a bunch of people out. The Menacing Park community fair, the Makers Market. Did that, we're working on that right now, but that is one of the other ones that's coming up in June. And there's some people here that are artists and makers in the community, so we can just hit on that quickly, but we're doing a Minnesink Park Makers Market, June 27th. And it'll be like our kind of, I don't know, like the Stroudsburg's, what's their party that they do every year? Stroud Fest would be Minnesink. It'll be the Minnesink and Smithfield Townships Stroud Fest. So it'll be a good time. We're putting that together right now, and stay tuned for more info. But yeah, events like that, we're really looking forward to being a part of. Water quality participation and recommendations on ordinances and policies. We continue to work on the homeowner stormwater management toolkit. Incorporate a revised code of conduct to improve the efficiency of our meetings. The ESA worked with, the AC worked with supervisors on recommending updates to the data center ordinance, which I know a lot of people are here for today. Recommendations on dirty fill issues and an ordinance to confirm a 7-member council with 2 alternate members. Do we have the alternates?
Yep, we do still have, yeah, we have one open alternate.
We have one open. So. Anybody else has any additional highlights?
I think you pretty well covered it. Yeah, we covered a lot.
Yeah, it was a good year. Good year.
Well, then I'd like to move that the EAC approve this report and submit it to the supervisors.
I'll second that.
Todd seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Yeah, and then we'll give that proposal to the board shortly. That's the sum of the list here.
Next is the letter with the color letterhead.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. So the advisory council recommendation for the dirty fill ordinance. This was submitted.
Yeah, this is as you recall, around this time last year, the council recommended this to supervisors, and the supervisors are taking it up tomorrow at their work session to discuss actually, putting that in play. So
Great.
It was heard, the supervisors had it on their priority list, and now they're gonna be tackling it. So.
Yeah, for anybody that's out of the loop, one of the big issues is dump trucks full of dirty fill from out of our town, showing up in our town and dumping the bill, which can be contaminated with a bunch of nasty stuff. So takes care of that as best as it.
Yeah, well, the problem with that is one state makes it contaminated, but PA says, oh no, we'll take it.
Yeah. It's real. I own a piece of property that was one of those dump sites for quite a while, so.
Poverty dealt with that.
Yeah, it's no joke. And everybody understands that when you have a project, you need fill. And sometimes they say, oh, we'll drop this off for free. And it sounds like a great deal. Cause if your land is not so flat, which most of our land is not so flat, and you gotta build something. There's a lot of fill and not a lot of cut. So you take dirty, or you take fill thinking it's clean, and it's absolutely not. So that's why it's free. But good. Let's take it back. This is the question.
Eric, you guys just stated that last year you guys wrote a letter to board of supervisors regarding about the dirty fill.
Right, it's just going through now.
Why are you guys taking too long? You submitted last year around this time. As just stated. And it takes a whole year for a supervisor to read a letter from you guys. And to discuss and talk about this, so then there'll probably another year of stretching the writing of an ordinance. But when you add up, the damage is done already.
I mean, I understand your concern. Things do take time though, so. But I do understand
to be honest, I think something like this should not take time. Because you're filling an environment of wetlands or contaminated. And then about time you reach out to this person, this person, this person, the damage is done. So my question is, what are you guys gonna do as a supervisor? How are you gonna violate them? You're gonna make them let it stay and cover it up, or you're gonna make them remove that dirt?
Well, as an EAC, we're not making anybody do anything,
Or I'm just,
But-
well,
because we're just an advisory council. But that's a
so what is
question
the
for,
township, the supervisor, the
so
zoning,
I'm saying that's
whoever the
a,
ordinance
that's a
gonna
question
take?
that's a question for them. For sure.
Tomorrow night at 6 p.m. they're gonna have a work session on it. And I would recommend asking them for sure. That's a good
And like it
question.
has been done to these owners. that-
I-
see,
I think it's definitely a good question. I think it's great to bring it up tomorrow night.
Agreed.
I'll just comment as well. Agreed that it's an important point. In the letter specifically, it does say that there are recent incidents underscoring the urgency of such measures. So that language is there. There's obviously some type of urgency. Now, that would also require us, you, ourselves, to go to the supervisors and present that concern at a meeting. So I think tomorrow night's a great opportunity to do that, since we're talking about it tonight.
Residents have been complaining for the past numerous years.
There you go. I have no problem, trying to attend tomorrow night for that specific reason, but I agree, it's something that needs to be looked at, it's been submitted. So now again, this comes back to the whole concept of where the advisory council, the supervisors are the ultimate, the ones that sign off on all this, but so the language in the letter is actually very well written, that recent incidents underscore the urgency of such measures. There is a recognition of lengthy enforcement timelines, kind of like what you said, could take a while between when you make the, awareness of the supervisors, bring it to the awareness of the supervisors, and then the enforcement, it takes time. And then also there's a comment about seeking technical assistance from Monroe County Conservation. So that is exactly what the language states in the letter. I think it's well written, but you make a good point that we have to bring it, kind of put it at the top of the inbox for the supervisors to
It is on
address.
the agenda tomorrow night.
Well, it's there, Katie, but it shouldn't take, over 2 years.
No, I agree with you too. I agree with you too. I think that that's an excellent point to make.
Yeah.
To them tomorrow.
Tomorrow's the right place to bring that up.
Alex, that raises the question of, aren't we supposed to have a supervisor representative sitting here on the EAC?
Yes, correct. I agree
Yeah.
with
It's
that.
not required, it is an option and no other member can fill that spot, you see what I'm saying? So there's 7 members and 2 alternates, and if the supervisor member isn't appointed, then you have 6 members and 2 alternates. So it's not, you don't have to have a supervisor member, it's great to have one though, if you can convince one of them.
So when Robert was sitting with us, he was one of the 7.
Correct. One of the 7 voting council members.
We also.
I'm just curious why that, excuse me, I'm just curious why that wasn't done the same way, because it's always good to have supervisor input here. That person could answer this question easily. My guess is that it's a question of priorities. I mean, there's only so much stuff that they can address. They have to set the priorities and write down the list.
Yeah, it's not that this isn't important, but there's a lot of other stuff going on last year. They were
We just have to bring it to their attention.
They were
Like the
redoing
data center.
they were redoing all the ordinances, they went through all of them.
Exactly.
I'd also remind people that, there's no requirement that Smithfield Township even have an EAC.
Correct.
This is our choice. And if you look at Monroe County, most of the municipalities do not have EACs. So we're ahead of most of the county in what we do in advising our supervisors to pay attention to environmental issues and get off your butts and do something. I mean, that's what you're saying, and we can only advise. We have no power whatsoever, really.
Yeah, you make a good point, right? They can decide to even create a council, or they can decide to dismiss
They
the
can
council.
dissolve it. They
Right,
can
exactly. So they can decide whether they appoint a member or don't. We can recommend that they do. I think it was helpful to have Robert here, but at the same time, it's really up to them.
We're not discrediting your comment, we're just saying that the fact that we're here is a good sign. And
No,
we're trying to keep everybody happy. but
Yeah, you guys
Yeah.
listen.
Yeah.
It's the other communities that don't listen to the residents.
Well, tomorrow, we'll be here.
But I just wanna correct Ken. Ken, you guys are not the first EAC members. We used to have, and it dissolved, and then now it came back.
I
I'm gonna put that on
understand, we
record.
know that, I'm saying there's
Okay.
no state requirement that any one municipality have an EAC. It's voluntary, and we are all volunteers by this, we are not paid to do anything.
Right.
I'll make
That
one
was,
comment on that.
that was, yeah, Todd has a comment. Tom has a-
I'm not defending anyone because I don't know their work habits or how they deal with everything. But I will say, we as the EAC, dumped a lot in their lap last year and this year already.
Sure, we're doing.
And with everything we've dumped in their lap and everything they were doing, especially writing this next ordinance at 265. They've been working on that.
Yeah.
A lot. But I wanna say we have dumped a lot in their lap last year and already this year for them to look at and, the treatment plant was a major one we dumped in their lap, so they kind of jumped through a lot of hoops on that. Yeah.
No, it's,
But again, I don't know the work practice and I'm not saying that's the reason why, I'm just saying they did have a lot to deal with and we threw them a lot more.
and yeah, when we bring up, changes and ordinances and things, if there's a timeline and it's really something important that needs to get done, we make a note of that and we'll get it done. Which, we're gonna get to that in a second regarding the data centers, it's things like that. Because we did move fast on them, really saved us in the end. So, we good on that, John? I think so. Yeah, we can move on. And new business. Yeah. We did quicker. That's where we're at. Yeah. Data center work. So, okay. Good. Yeah. Should I just read this and just get it out of the way? The data center?
That's up to you. Yeah, I distributed a timeline to the council, so everyone has some context.
I mean, I don't have to read it out loud,
Well,
I'm just,
don't read it.
I'm just gonna paraphrase. So everybody's really upset about the data center, we understand. I think the easiest way for us to explain it, is that the EAC made a recommendation, with the board of supervisors, to update the regulations addressing these data centers. Since that time, the Township Planning Commission and the Board of Supervisors have continued to work to further those regulations and improve protections to the community. We understand that. In Smithfield Township, data centers were allowed in the ED zone. Okay, so the ED zone is running all the way up River Road and yeah, the red area. So a massive area where these data centers were allowed to be built. That was changed. It was changed quickly, and because it was changed quickly, we are now looking at a very different situation regarding data centers. They are going to be only permitted in M1 industrial zoning locations. There are only 2 of those. In the 2 that they are located or could be located in, there are many different factors within those locations that make it very unlikely that a data center will be put in there. So the regulations that were passed and all the work that was done by the EAC and the Board of Supervisors was done in such a way that now the data centers that are coming in here, and there are no proposals yet. But the ones that would come in are going to be having a difficult time putting one in, just because of land constraints. Size. I know everybody's upset about this and for good reason, and we all are, but the work that was done, we feel like was done in the nick of time, because this happened, and then within a couple of weeks, this proposal came in. So I mean, I understand what you're saying, Vicky. Things don't move quickly enough, but in this instance, they moved really quickly and they saved our ass. So,
The sketch came in last year in November.
yes,
So it wasn't that quick.
well, they're not building it on. Or on Mosers, so that to me was, that's a win.
You guys flashed the ED and just dropped it on the M1, it's like industrial.
Mhm.
And in M1, the area is very rural,
Mhm.
not commercialized.
Mhm.
And the ED is more commercialized, because it feels like commercial.
I understand,
Just like how Mr. Pride said last week in his meeting, in his presentation, how that he feels this way. This is his opinion, this is my opinion. When I drive over past JTL up the hill, it feels like rural to me, Milford Road.
oh, I understand,
When I'm on 209 of Dairy Queen, all that area, 447, that is commercialized for me. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people that are on my side of the area feel that way.
well, I agree, but
Because if you're gonna have an ordinance, you need to keep the zoning in both sides, fair on both sides of the town. And let the developers go through their loops and their permits, and then like, if they get the permits or whatever, we'll deal after that. Otherwise, I'm requesting that the township stops and get a moratorium and review and do their study studies
sure,
and respect the residents.
I understand,
It's not my side of the town versus my side of the town. It could
right,
be overall.
well,
And I hope you will deliver this message to the supervisors. And I'm hoping that you deliver it to Alex. And I'm hoping that Mr. Pride watches this live streaming too. That's all I have to say. Because where the airport area is, you have your lake community there. You have wildlife there. And then the other side of the M1, where the Minnesota Park is and all that, that's rural too. You have your creek there,
right. I mean,
wildlife there.
I think that what you're failing to understand is just that the size of these data centers is such that the locations that are now zoned for them greatly reduce the possibility for one of them going in. So if it was to happen, okay, there are setbacks for wetlands, which are peppered all through that zone. Okay,
Yeah, but
and
that's very little, it's 200 feet, right, Alex, the setbacks?
there's 200 to residential, 150 to wetlands, but again, what I'm saying is that there's a conditional use hearing that has to happen. There's a whole bunch of new regulations that are set so that the likelihood of these data centers going in has been greatly reduced. And that's been done because we all feel the same way about them.
And you can have a data center that's almost 50,000 square foot. You know that. And that could fit in
But that
any
would-
of those two locations.
So that would require a conditional use hearing.
Which nobody would let them pass.
No, it's just,
We'd all show up for
You
that.
can't answer that.
no, but what I'm saying is that before,
It was not available.
what's that?
It was not available for conditional use on that one, they could just go in.
No, that's what I'm saying. Before
Yeah, now
anything
there's
was
a
done here, they
Conditional
could
use
have,
now.
before the EAC and the Board of Supervisors changed these ordinances, they could have just put in plans and been building right now on Mosers or on the airport or anywhere. So what has been done within the past 3 or 4 months has been exceptional, and it was just in the right amount of time, because before that, there would have been no hearing, just plans, and building. So we are where we are, and again, this truly has not very much to do with the EAC, only that we recommended the changes originally. But
Well, maybe you could recommend the change and listening to the group of the people here today. And give your recommendation back to the Board of Supervisors, what the residents feel.
It's definitely an open discussion, that's for sure. I've got several points I need to make.
I agree.
yeah, I'm sorry, hold on, just hold on one second, yeah.
Bygone.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
of
they
course, yeah.
build in wetlands. And they built. So what are the possibility that you guys say conditional use and all that? They also had those conditional use too. They went through all those hoops and all that, and they got in, they put the building up, and now they're going on phase 2 building. Which they're gonna start construction over the summer.
Yes.
Can I say something to that?
Well, yeah, I just wanted to kind of get back to where we're going with this.
So maybe the council can deliberate and then you can take public
Yeah,
comment.
we'll take public comment because we've kind of gotten out of sequence here, but as far as, yeah, as far as data centers are concerned, does the board have anything to offer additionally?
Yeah, I'll throw in a couple quick comments. I'll just be completely transparent. Personally, I am totally against data centers all over the country. I don't want to have anything to do with AI construction in our area that obviously has the air, the water, the obvious noise, all these other things that, residents are bringing up. So that's personally how I feel. I want nothing to do with them. Professionally, what I'm understanding is that there essentially is like a legal process, and that's what I think that's what we're kind of talking about. Ultimately, again, it's something that the ordinance was put in place quickly, which I will commend people on doing. But then also, if you look at, if anybody follows national media, there's a lot of ongoing conversation about these. Locally, Senator Rosemary Brown has recommended a moratorium. There's a lot of comments on social media speaking towards Governor Shapiro about discussing a moratorium. Senator Bernie Sanders has called for a national moratorium. So again, way above our pay grade in that respect. So again, we're still trying to understand the process, but ultimately, again, personally against, professionally, there is a process. And then I've said it since I started coming to these meetings almost 2 years ago. This is an evolving conversation because even now that we're talking about the setbacks and the studies that potentially need to be done, there's still ongoing conversations about how countries like China are building them underwater to help with the cooling. I mentioned that in the past that there's conversations of several years from now, the companies like that are run by Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, they're talking about putting them up in space. So it's a very, very evolving conversation. So ultimately, that's just to frame the conversation. I think we should all be able to discuss it. A lot of public comments. There's obviously a lot of people here that want to talk about it. But like I said, there's a personal stance, there's a professional stance, there's a process, and then we basically have to be as vocal as possible, not only here, but at several levels of our elected government. We've got state senators, we've got governors, we've got federal senators and congressmen. So that's what I want to say, just kind of frame the conversation. But yeah, a lot to be discussed with the data centers for sure. Oh, and the last thing I'll say, I think it's important to also know that, there is a conversation about who benefits. Obviously the community, as far as we're aware, I don't think many people in the community really feel like we or they would benefit at all from these. Even when they're up and running, the amount of jobs are very minimal, right? They're run with like only a couple staff members that run massive centers. So there's probably a conversation to be had about that as well with the supervisors, who actually even benefits at the end of the day. And then also the supervisors or anybody else in the decision-making chair, they don't necessarily need to be on the receiving end in terms of a contract. But one thing that we should all just be aware of is that, people can benefit through campaign contributions. So that is something that, that's again, part of the conversation. That I'm not going to benefit. I'm not getting a job at a data center. I don't know if anybody else is getting jobs at data centers, but it's just part of the conversation so we're all aware. And awareness then leads to solutions. So that's what I wanted to say on that. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm against the data center because it's not very useful to anyone in the community. It's useful for the people who run them and have them. And I've been doing some research. I found in other states, I brought it up to the supervisors twice. In Pennsylvania, we can't do it yet, but it doesn't mean legislation won't change or that they write something in. But I've been trying to recommend that it go within a mile or 5 miles of residential homes. Which, airport, you wouldn't get it. You may get it on River Road. I doubt it, but in PA, you can't tell them how far you have to be away from something other than your, your zoning laws that are in place.
Yeah.
We can't just go, well, we want a mile or we want 5 miles, but I'm trying to get someone to throw that out there to someone higher up from me.
State.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
Right, so I actually live in the M1 zone in the airport area. I'm one of 3 homes that are right there. If you look at your ordinance 187, it specifically says that residential homes are not allowed in M1 zones. So what rights do I have when it comes to a possible data center or anything else? Because I was here last Thursday, I heard people complaining about the lights with Vigon. I actually spoke to Vigon. I had somebody come out from California to my property. Because ever since that warehouse got put in, it's been crazy light pollution. I've had somebody come on my property and steal something off of it, and I track them to Vigon. And also, I've had people standing on my property on the Vigon line, because I live right between the 2 Vigons. My back window and my neighbor's back window are right there. They're leaving cigarette butts and cellophane wrappers on my property. So you also, in that ordinance, it talks about how you can't have light pollution. Who's enforcing any of this? Who's enforcing any of the new sound ordinances? Because I'll tell you what, that Vigon is loud, it's really loud. I'm the only one who's like got my back in this situation. Like I said, the guy came out from California, he walked the property with me. So what protection do I have? And can that really be classified as an M1 if you have residential homes? Can't we just switch that up and completely eliminate a data center being able to even possibly go there? If you have actual homes there?
I mean,
Well, that's really only something we could recommend to the
we could,
board of supervisors.
Yeah.
We can't change it.
There first, before the zoning changed.
Yeah,
And that's 63 on the record
and
too,
the zoning change.
He was there first.
2008.
before it became M1.
So also, a few years ago, I called Vigon, I said, listen, I want to put an organic garden in my backyard. What's the deal with your water runoff? You know, because my property goes, I mean, you can't really see it. But I have almost 2 acres and it wraps around the back of Vigon. If you walk back there, it's all marshland, like it's way more going on than what they have listed on the map. You see all kinds of film, like oil film residue and all kinds of stuff back there. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I guess they updated their waste treatment. Now they have some sort of like, they burn it up now. But my neighbors, almost everybody in the house that lived next to me had cancer at one point in time. I don't know what it was caused by. It could be Vigon, it could be anything, whatever. What are the odds they all have it though?
yeah, it's
So
terrifying.
who's checking on their wastewater? Who is like doing quality control in this township?
Well, yeah, and I mean, for the EAC, again, you know, we are here mostly as an educational board or, you know, council to educate the community on matters of sustainability and environmental, so topics, but in this instance, there are complaint forms that we had to put online, right? So that you
Out in
can,
the lobby.
yeah, and that was the lobby. So,
They're wearing there because I was here for the cell tower that they want to put up right there. And when I mentioned I lived there, they're like, where do you live? Like, they had to look me up on the map. So I feel like rules are being made and people are being forgotten about here, you know?
no,
Yeah, I would, with the oil and stuff you say you see in the wetlands at your property, I would do a complaint form. And I would bring it in
I mean, that's,
and hand it directly to somebody. And the township has an individual that could come out and look at it.
Okay.
And if it's an issue or something like that, then it can be addressed through EAP, DEP, any of those.
right.
So who would be the individual? The only town that I know that had that conservation district is Mr. Jackson here. Would he have the authority to come out and look at that mess in the wetlands, the oil?
Well, I mean, Mr.
Do you have
Chairman,
that power?
I hear you, and these are good comments.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you coming out tonight and commenting to the EAC, and I'm not speaking on as an EAC member, I'm just a staff member, but you would ask me, you know, is that conservation district? They could submit a complaint to the township, and the township, if it's not in their jurisdiction, can run it up the flagpole.
Right.
It starts at the local levels, but it has to be a formal complaint
Right.
submitted. And then the township will look into it. Light pollution, the township does have a new ordinance and they will look into it. It's very, pretty strict criteria, but without a complaint form. They won't, I mean, I believe this township's on a complaint basis. They're not, you know, we so.
Right,
Okay.
you can submit those to
We can,
Julia, is it Julia?
I asked
Yeah.
Julia, if they informed Bygone about the new noise ordinance, she said I have no idea.
Yeah, you have
But
to
I-
physically write it, that's how they make you do it, I've jumped through those hoops with them
I'm
too.
gonna say this. The airport road sign went missing for over a year, right there on Milford Road,
Yeah,
over a year. They didn't put a new one in until I said something about it. Who is actually monitoring this township?
Okay, so again, for the EAC, we are just an advisory council that deals on educating and doing workshops, bringing the
Okay.
community together, talking about sustainability, environmental concerns, ways to clean up your yard. Think of us that way. But if you were to come here like you are with a complaint and you had filled out a complaint and submitted it, you could ask us to follow up on that for you. We could do that. That's not what we're here for, but we could.
Okay.
So, and that's all I have to offer right now, but if we could. And we could maybe, I'll talk with Alex later and we could see, but if there's like, you know. The Dark Skies initiative that was, you know, passed, so that's a real thing. Who's going out there with, you know, testing equipment to see if the lights are too bright? I don't know. They should, it would be great, because what's a, you know, Dark Skies initiative without somebody that's enforcing it? I truly don't know, but I also despise light pollution, so I get it, I do get it.
It used to be
I got one on my
completely
road.
dark back there, and now it's just like
I know.
a stadium, and I'm right in
It's
the middle
terrible.
of all of it.
And I'm
hard.
sorry that you had to deal with that, but, you know, and maybe that's a recommendation from, you know, our community, is that there should be a way for the ordinances to be enforced, or, you know, but it's not coming from us, you know? If you submit, a complaint, we can talk about it, follow up, figure out what's going on. I mean, I feel
And it all
bad.
has to go to the zoning officer.
Yeah, it all has to, yeah.
I'll have to go through the channels.
Out, like after hours at nighttime to see the light pollution?
Well, I imagine that's what they would do if that was part of the recommendation.
Dark skies.
Yeah, I would say put the complaint in, and I would say Vicky's really good at wording it properly so that they have to respond,
Oh, no,
if you
no,
wanna get with her.
I'm not putting
But I
it-
would put the complaint in. And then, once it's in, that's how they get it done, and they make me jump through the same hoops as everyone else too.
Yeah.
We've all had situations. But I would say, put the complaint in, let it go up the chain, and then. I'm just learning now that we can follow through once it's a formal complaint. And I'm sure if you Google it, so you have to word it a certain way.
Yeah, no,
to-
I'm good at writing things like that, I'm not.
Yeah.
It's just, and what about the zoning officer? I heard that we're contracting out to somebody else, or do we actually have our own?
I have somebody on Thursdays, he's here on Thursdays.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Chairman, these are all good comments, but the matter before the council is, would you like to make a recommendation to the board on the data center, right, and say that?
We got
I thought we were supposed to comment on that.
We're not, no, we're still on the data center.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you wanna act on that tonight, you can entertain a motion to recommend that they adopt this as written.
Yeah.
They have a hearing on the 22nd.
The hearing,
You could make, it's up to the council, but that's the action you have on your agenda.
and we don't have a meeting before then.
You have another one on the second.
We have one on the second.
Yeah.
It's your decision, I mean,
Sure.
you know, I hear public comments on M1 homes, non-conforming uses, proximity to M1 zones. I hear light pollution comments. I don't hear comments on this particular ordinance as
No.
drafted, and it's up on the website, it's been advertised. So I mean, you know, you can entertain some additional public comments on the matter that you're discussing.
Yeah.
And if there are none, you can decide to make a recommendation tonight, or you can table it, or you can, you know, it's up to you guys, but I just want to try to, it's already 8:30 and I know we try to keep these meetings to an hour and a half.
That's fine. No, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I think the amendment is the only thing that's gonna keep things moving in the right direction. You know, it
Yeah.
really protects us as.
I'm gonna
I've been to the meetings and listened to them.
Yeah,
And it's not, it's
I've
maybe
read
not,
through.
maybe not protecting.
Right now,
everybody.
the ideal, is probably the best it can be.
It's better than none.
Right.
So,
yeah, I think this is the most
Yeah, I
protective,
guess-
honestly, that we
I'd
can
really
get.
like to push for that 1 to 5 miles, but
yeah, and we can do that, you know, we can.
We can always amend that.
Yeah.
This is,
Maybe anyone has all the comments besides Stephanie and me, for sure.
Oh, yeah, we're not there yet, but we will. We definitely should.
yes.
But just to let everyone know, if this
Todd,
doesn't go
yeah.
through,
Yeah, we're
it's
holding
another
public,
60 days.
right, but what I'm saying, we're holding public comment for the very end. We'll
Yeah.
have, you know, as far as I'm concerned,
Yeah.
I'll make a motion.
Yeah.
To submit this as is. Does anybody want a second?
I'm second it.
Second by Todd, all in favor?
Can I make a real quick comment?
And now it's our turn to comment, and then we're gonna go to public comment, and then we'll coordinate. Yeah.
So really quickly, my council member comment then will be just to answer your question. Everything we do goes through the supervisors. There is no power that we have. I wish we did, but there's no power that we have other than recommending. And in the hospital, it's the same way. If I'm the psychiatrist, the neurologist, the cardiologist, all I can do is recommend what you should do with your patient, but it's up to them. So all of your questions that are valid should go towards the supervisors. Agreed about filling out the complaint form, and then that follows the legal process. But that's all I'll say on that.
Yeah, but you just accepted what they recommended. And you voted it,
They're not the public comment.
I'm just saying.
So-
Yeah, no, I don't have any further comment, other than, again, ultimately, just to answer that question, because I'm gonna allow the back and forth really fast, it's just that, again, we can only recommend. So it's still gonna be up to them. We can all go tomorrow, you can go tomorrow, and just say we'd like to discuss the 200 feet, 1 mile, 5 miles, you know, again, it's going to be up to them.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say on that, I guess.
Well, we can recommend that
Sure.
it be
10
miles.
That'd be, right, exactly. We
Okay.
could recommend it be 100 miles, and that would make it, you know,
But
that would
then
kind
they
of
still
answer
have
all of
to
our questions. So,
You
Yeah.
can recommend, it
Yeah.
doesn't mean they
Yeah.
take it.
So my comment, from the council point of view is I would like to get some feedback, and Alex, maybe you know how to do this, on how the email list is developing for communication to township residents. Because we got the QR code out in every tax bill for people to sign up for information on the township, which I give Jacob a lot of credit for getting that done.
Yeah.
And I commented at the supervisors meeting that particular handout was a great report on the status of what has been done. This one here, sure you all saw it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I list all
Um,
dates and everything.
A nice concise report on what has happened in the township in 2025. And that's really nice. I listened to a report by the township manager in Pocono Township at Marine Mountains Town Hall. And it wasn't nearly as informative as this 2 or 3 piece of paper. Plus, but I would like to know, the feedback I'd like to get is how many of the 7,000 residents that we have in Smithfield Township are now on that email list?
we could follow up.
You're looking, you wanna know how many we got.
Yeah,
He wants the email list ticker.
because if we didn't get
Okay.
enough, then we should do more
Okay.
so that we
Yeah.
can communicate more effectively.
It could be an ongoing process. I know there was essentially,
everybody should.
For instance,
we had 800 when we
Good
started the
question.
process, yeah.
How well is our QR code working?
Yeah.
And can we get a live ticker on the website? that
Or a monthly update,
shows how
a
many
newsletter maybe.
Well, the other thing is, when we put out these, this is a sign up QR code
Yeah,
for Mount Nebo Park.
yeah, but it worked.
Right.
Went from 1 to
But
9.
we should
real
also
quick when I
have,
was hanging out.
I would like to see a
Yeah.
QR code.
It
To
went well.
sign up for continuing
Oh, the
communication.
newsletter, yeah,
Right.
it did work, the hike.
I
did
think when
work.
it goes to the event though, probably the email will go to the same list now.
Yeah, I think it doesn't, does it not
I'm
connect?
sure they'll save that email. If you sign up for the hike.
I don't know.
Or
What
we
do you
can find
think?
it, yeah.
Well, this all stuff that we can get you an update on.
Yeah.
I can talk to them. I mean, I can't tell you right
So
now.
my comment is,
We'll bring that to
just
them.
keep
Yeah.
pursuing.
Yeah.
Opening up and getting better lines of communication to all of our residents. Because, we've got 20 people here tonight. Maybe we should have 50. Maybe we need to have a bigger room.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think if people really.
Maybe you're not allowed to come in unless we get your email.
Right.
Yeah.
They would be more.
The door.
No, I agree.
Bigger room needs some
We'll,
more.
we'll keep focusing on this. Anybody else?
I have,
I-
go ahead.
I just wanna know, you can email me or whatever, where are we at with the, gardens?
Oh, yeah. We talked about that last week or 2 weeks
Yeah.
ago.
We're, the township's working on it. We're gonna haul, actually tomorrow, we're gonna haul out all the old beds and we're gonna be working on it internally and once they're constructed. I did reach out to Middle Smithfield, again, as much information as we can and we're gonna make it work. Timing, now, depends on how much, how quickly, things go and how cooperative Mother Nature is.
Cool.
Alright, I just had one very quick comment. You said that these were up there for everyone?
For the men welding,
Yeah,
yeah, I printed that.
if everybody could please grab one of these. The hearing is pretty important. This water company is currently in need of repair. And we could use all the voices we could get, all of you. We'd love to have you at this hearing.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it is increasing from 150,000 gallons per day to 700,000 gallons
Yeah.
per day. And that's
Well, I mean, that's the men welding, that's a good point. They're currently discharging a certain amount, but they're permitted up to some very, very high amount.
Yes.
And, that's that's a big jump. If the existing quality of the discharge is that much higher, now you're talking, proportionally
Major.
larger impacts on the endangered aquatic species,
Yeah.
it's
They're
right there.
already-
Yeah, and
Right there.
yeah, all
All
chlorinated,
Part right there.
all chlorinated water being dumped into the broad, so.
Yeah.
And the water quality concerns are one of the top, ranked priorities of the council, so. April 16th as a reminder, but we'll talk about that again on.
Yeah, if everybody would grab one of these, just look into it a little bit. We'd love to have you. We could use all the help we can get.
So,
Voices are heard in numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll take any additional public comment now and open that up.
I just wanna know how they have updated the ordinance for the data center. Because I was looking online at your 187 and it seems like it's already addressing a lot of issues of the data center, right?
How?
Like noise, okay,
You're asking what the updates were
yeah, what did they
specifically?
do to make it stricter than what it already is?
No, they made it a conditional use.
That's the big one.
That's the big one, so no matter what happens, you can't just apply for it and then be granted, it has to go through an actual hearing.
I believe it had
so
something
we
to do
can
with the,
speak on it.
there was,
if they
the
apply.
sound decibels
If
were
anyone
in that.
applies,
Sound.
And the sound.
Yeah, the sound, they can't go over, it's 57 or
yeah,
58 decibels.
Yeah, there's a preliminary sound study, an interim sound study, and an as-built sound study now.
Okay.
So that's a
That
lot.
was a big.
Yeah, that third one really bumps it.
Yeah,
yeah,
there was no interim sound study before, so that's an extra layer of protection for the community. If
I think,
somehow they get through the hearing with, and if they somehow meet all the conditions that the community puts on it, then they still have to do all these studies before they can even become operational, so the community's
there
really.
was talk about an environmental study also.
There's those in the original one. In this update, it's sounds. They're updating the criteria for decommissioning and they're making it conditional use, and then one and they're deleting it from the entire ED zone.
Yeah, and that will be discussed tomorrow night.
And on that note, this ordinance is being discussed pretty much everywhere across the township. It's in the
Yeah.
planning commission meetings, it's in the zoning hearing board meetings, it's in the environmental meetings. And then again, the ultimate say is at the supervisor meetings.
Yeah.
So it's kind of being discussed across multiple committees, if you will.
So is this not through yet? Like that's tomorrow?
No, there is nothing, absolutely zero anything for the
Tomorrow,
data center. No one's come here with any paperwork saying, I wanna build this.
right.
No one has done that yet.
There's no.
There's been talk of it, but no one's
We're just
Tomorrow-
trying
committed
to-
anything to say, I wanna build something.
Tomorrow, they are voting on the change to the ordinance, which would eliminate the ED zone. And put, or not eliminate it,
Tomorrow's just a work session.
oh, tomorrow's work session.
22nd of April.
22nd.
That's the hearing.
But, oh, that's the hearing.
That's the fix. April 22nd is where they have the public hearing, Mr. Chairman, and tomorrow's the work. They can bring it up tomorrow too.
Okay.
They're
What's tomorrow's
By
vote?
the time you bring it
The
up.
final thing is April
April
22nd.
22nd, yeah.
So there's a bunch of time,
This is
but
but there's time to look it all over.
Yeah, it's, look at it like building a house. You have to get all your stuff together. You gotta come in here to planning and zoning and say, I have this piece of land and this is what I wanna do. And then everything trickles through all the systems. And they approve you or not to build your house.
but
You know, this ordinance here is us trying to avoid them from building a house.
Is your sense that the supervisors are on board with this?
I mean, this ordinance, this change to the ordinance,
Yeah.
okay?
But there is no. I think, and I hate to speak out of turn, I think that the one thing this entire township might agree on is nobody is trying to do this. So we're trying to do the most to not,
Make it as hard as possible?
within legal,
You have to make it available in the township.
within legal bounds, we're making it as worse as we can,
Restrictive as
yeah.
But again, what we were voting on here to push forward was just our recommendation to move it to just the M1 zones.
Yeah.
And then from there, conditional use M1, so there'll be hearings and there'll be a whole bunch of different parameters set. So I think that we're all sitting pretty good right now, and it'll only get better as time goes on.
So for the April 22nd meeting, is that like when we as the public could ask questions like about them doing hydrolysis, like hydraulic tests, like all of that kind of important stuff, like talking about the amount of water consumption that these data centers would be using and our concerns, you know, knowing the amount of water that we have that we use per day, bringing all of that up to them, like, that's the right time to do it.
Yeah,
I think
if you
you can
go
also
online,
bring it
there's
up
these
tomorrow.
11 data centers in Pennsylvania. You can research those 11 data centers in Pennsylvania and see what they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, what was your name, man?
Eduarda,
Eduarda. I did it for the minutes. What was the last name?
Pineda, Pereira.
Thank you. So your question is a good one, and if you don't, I can just answer it. Basically, yes. If the April 22nd hearing is when that would be the most appropriate place to have this discussion, because that's when the supervisors are considering it.
Yeah.
This is also a good place to have it, and I appreciate you all coming out. And this group just recommended that they recommend approval of the ordinance as written, and then there'll be another discussion. They could and you can, like I said, you can bring it up at the work session, but the formal discussion, the true decision will occur on the 22nd. And this has been a very good discussion. I think everyone has raised very good points.
And just to understand how this all works, like, you know, obviously I'm taking this very seriously. I'm trying to mobilize with people like starting tomorrow to get a lot of people in here. How many minutes does each person get? And is it like specific to Smithfield Township residents only? Will they allow other people to speak as well? Like how big is?
Those are good questions. 3 minutes, right? Is
It's
it?
just 3 minutes and I believe anyone can speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, come prepared with 3 minutes worth of something to.
They have a
ask for.
small timer up here. They start and stop it. They're pretty fair.
But also make sure you save it for the appropriate time, like. If they're not willing to do the back and forth like we do. You can always do it in public comment, you get the 3 minutes. You know, everybody be respectful of each other, we try not to crosstalk or. Be horrible to each other, you know, but
Yeah, and like, if you have a question, be ready for a question, but if you have you know, a recommendation, you know, a
Definitely.
recommendation would be. I think that this shouldn't be allowed within this many feet of a house, or I think that, you know, things like that are easier to convey. And then they can be taken into considerations, so. I appreciate everybody coming out tonight, thank you, I think that we'll,
I move to adjourn.
good, all right, second, all in favor? Aye. Good job, everybody. Work.